are talking The Expanse, Season 5, Episode 8, Hard Vacuum. Hard Vacuum.
Isn't this it was a Van Damme movie, right?
Yes, it was.
Hard Vacuum.
Everybody was doing the splits, had very shaven chests, oily shaven chests the entire episode. It was mostly Amos.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is the hard target.
I really think I need to see this happen.
Van Damme needs to see it happen.
Amos and Peaches, their storyline being on Earth, I think that makes the whole bit of terrorism hit home much harder. When they were talking about the tsunami wiping everything away, we're hearing millions of people died, but to actually know that one of our cities that we know so well now in present day is now underwater and gone because of a tsunami, that was powerful stuff.
Those kind of establishing shots doing so much work, seeing them on the motorbikes and you can see them going through these just waterlogged fields and stuff. And you're like, wow, that's weird. They do really great work with just the images. And when you're watching a TV show and you kind of want that, you need that. Like, how do you do this? Something that a book has pages and pages to accomplish. And they do so much in just a few seconds of images. That's impressive stuff.
Oh yeah. They nailed the depression and the desolation that's going on in the Baltimore area.
If you guys enjoy the videos we're doing, please give us a subscribe, like the video, give some comments. We absolutely love talking about Expanse and hope you guys enjoy this in the final 2 weeks of the season.
You were there at the beginning. And you were supposed to be there at the end.
We did get just a brief scene with Marco and Philip, and confirmed that Sin is in fact dead, in the airlock. And it got another confirmation that Philip did not see his mom get inside the Chetzemuka, and so as far as Marco and Philip are concerned, she's dead. She killed herself out in space. Kind of crazy little moment from that is that Marco then blames Philip for Sin's death. He tells him that he's responsible.
I think he was trying to probably alleviate his own guilt a little bit.
Right.
But of course, when you're a narcissist megalomaniac, nothing's your fault. So you got to pass the buck onto your kid there. All of that is kind of going on with him. It was interesting to see him actually have a moment where he was really broken up about Sin. And,
yeah. Because clearly Sin is, honestly, I half expected for the last couple episodes for Marco to be the one to do Sin in, because it seemed like, Sin is like really towing a line here and something was maybe gonna happen, but then for it to be Naomi that ends up causing his death. But I think that's the thing for Marco. Philip says that Naomi did it, and Marco refuses to. He's like, Philip brought Naomi here, and if he hadn't brought Naomi here, none of this would have happened. Stupid kid, who I crave, the attention of. Such a messy relationship.
Well, he's a mess. If you didn't put your kid in any of this position, none of it would have happened either.
Right,
if you didn't blow up Earth, none of this happened. So, Kamina Drummer really is going through it this episode as they're going through and picking up Belter bodies and raiding Belter ships that have been destroyed by Marco's Free Navy. Not happy about any of this, and I don't think she sees a way out, and there's not much she can do. She's very ineffectual at this moment.
Yeah, and her crew, is clearly split on the whole thing. Some of them are just see it as this is the way. They're good, proper Mandalorians on it.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Some of them, are at least a little tempered that it's, they don't like it, but they don't also see a way out. But clearly Drummer seems the only one who really is, that next level of, she's just kind of despondent, but, is maybe approaching doing something about it. She nearly pulled her gun on Carol. Speaking of Carol, we have this scene where she's alone on their bridge and is clearly really liking the look of that captain's chair. I think she would just love to get Drummer out of the way and take her ship. I know that's going to definitely come to head, if not next episode, for sure by the end of the season.
Definitely.
They get the distress signal, this fake distress signal of Naomi's voice. Carol has to come clean that it's like, no, this is a trap. None of your business. Don't worry about it. Kamina is not having that, but then, because she can't do much, she goes and back to her old ways, and she decides to down some scotch. Carol and Kamina's number 2 kind of catch this weird, this altered version of the message. And it's going to come down to, is Drummer hearing this, or is her number 2 going to come to her and let her know that something's up? We got all these pieces that are kind of setting up what are going to be, I'm sure, big moments, in episode 9 and episode 10. But that leads us to kind of the biggest piece of the episode is just Naomi.
Yeah.
Again, amazing episode for her. And this time it's not playing off other actors. It's Dominique Tipper alone on a ship.
Oh yeah, powerhouse performance. Like give her an Emmy. Like it was great stuff. That episode was all hers, and she owned it. All the pain she's in from the float there. On top of that, struggling to do physical labor, which is already hard for her as a belter, and then going through the running out of oxygen over and over again, and doing that whole thing to me was so great. It reminds me of classic sci-fi tales of like somebody alone on a ship using their wits to try and get the whole thing done, to survive, to make their way through the stars alive.
We've known that Naomi is she's a crafty engineer. She's got that gumption to get it done, but also the kind of knowledge to do it and maybe find a way, just sheer willpower her way through it. And this was that Naomi that we haven't really seen this season, because she's been pooped on this whole season in a lot of ways. And to see her really taking charge was such awesome kind of peak Naomi that we haven't seen for quite a while.
I loved how they slowly unrolled, the information out to us. Like you weren't sure what she was doing. I'm like, okay, so she's memorizing the message. Why? Like, is she gonna replace it with her voice? You weren't exactly sure what she was doing, and then when she started cutting it, and it all comes together. Just a great bit of writing. Well done all the way around. Big tip of the hat to Dominique Tipper, aka Naomi.
If Matt Damon was making space potatoes, Naomi Nagata is like, scratching records in space to save her and the love of her life. Of like, ooh, that is some science right there. She's
I'm not gonna lie. I think I would rather DJ in space than make turd tater tots Matt.
Potatoes,
poop potatoes, turd taters.
Oh
my gosh, the bad jokes.
These are times that will try our souls, but make no mistake, we will prevail.
It's kind of become that thing that the penultimate 9th episode is going to have some big moments, and this one is sort of the setup where we know we're gonna see some of these conflicts pay off. We've got David Pastor, who's basically a designated survivor, Moon Edition, taking over the government from the moon and making a very, kind of bold speech. I wasn't sure what to expect because he seemed a little unsure of himself the week before when he's like, I'm just a transportation secretary. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But then he gives this rather rousing speech claiming like they're gonna go hard after Marco and Naros in sort of the meeting of the heads of the various departments. He wants to know how are we going to hit him? Like he wants to make a statement.
During that speech, you could almost see the change come over him, and it got my little spidey senses going. I was like, oh no, is he going to get drunk on this? The meek guy who's like, I never imagined even having power. Now he's got all of it. However, he kind of tempered that by literally admitting like, well, that felt good, and still kind of being unsure of himself and questioning the general. But I don't know, maybe he's being swayed by the general. Maybe he feels that that's the best target. Maybe he's going to be a strong man, more akin to a dictator. So I'm a little bit worried about him, but right now I like him so much. I hope he goes down a good path.
If we start murdering innocent belters,
will radicalize every belter who does not support Inoris.
Christian, who clearly throughout the series is not, I would not call her a political dove. Like she is not incapable of making tough decisions and, using violence when necessary or, ordering others to. But in this situation, she's got a line she doesn't want to cross, which is, hitting a fully civilian target.
Deimos was a military base. Palace is not.
Yeah, I thought it was nice to see Avasarala kind of doing her thing again, being back at the center of politics and kind of, I think, definitely being on the right side of preaching a little bit of restraint with this response because, and I'm happy to see that many of Earth's, other than the generals, many of Earth's leaders are like, that sounds crazy. We can't just kill people.
So the majority of casualties could still be innocent civilians.
Like the millions and counting of ours that they killed.
Very much reads like sort of a September 11th allegory. That was a big thing after that as well. What's the response? And I think historically we look back and say, like, yeah, we overstepped and didn't necessarily attack the right people, and things didn't go well. And I think that's what we gotta hope that, fictionally, maybe they can do better than people actually did in history.
Let's table this for now.
Some of these plot lines hit ahead, and I think the 9th episode is a great way to do it. You have to wonder, like, Eric and Amos, is there going to be some kind of falling out between them? Clearly, they've got some historic kind of bad blood. But I think the big one is going to be what's Earth going to do in response to this attack? Because the attack is the big plot of this season that's driving everything else. And I think seeing what Earth does is going to really set the tone for going into these last 2 episodes. And I have to assume we're going to see that in episode 9.
There's no sign of the proto-molecule in this Emmaus blast zone.
Are you sure it couldn't survive a reactor explosion?
That's how we killed it more than once.
The proto-molecule. Holden points out this week that he doesn't think it's gone because it's never been that easy to destroy in the past. And somebody speculated in the comment section last week for the video that what if one of the missiles that they fired out a whole volley of missiles, what if one of those missiles had the proto-molecule on it and veered off in another direction? And if that was sort of a contingency plan or just a desperation move. But I think we'll have to know more about that. Maybe not next episode, but for sure by the end of the season, because that proto-molecule, that's got to be a big piece of this whole thing, because that's clearly been a driving factor since season 1.
Yeah, it really is the MacGuffin of the entire show.
Yep.
It's the thing that drives it, that drives this beautiful plot known as The Expanse. You people out there, let us know what you think is coming in the weeks to come and what you're most excited about. Leave it right down there in the comment section. All right, we'll see you next week. All right, we'll see you next week. Oh my God. All right, we'll see you next week. I got it. That's how words work.